So, in the last class of this chapter, we have studied about database and database management system. So, what was this database? So, database was an organized collection of data, or we can say database is a container where the data are stored, and database management system or DBMS, it was DBMS, it was a system which is used to manage the database. That means the system, that means the software which manages the database is known as database management system. We studied this one in the previous class. So today we will learn some new terminologies that we will use while studying this chapter. So let us begin with some terminologies. The very first one is cell. So what is this cell? Cell is an intersection of rows and columns. So cell is an intersection of rows and columns, and this cell, it is the smallest unit or the smallest part or the smallest value of a file, or we can call it as a table. Okay, so let us see this cell. So cell is the intersection of rows and columns. So we know that each and this row represents the horizontal pattern, horizontal part. This each and every part is a row. So how many rows are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Okay, and this vertical part is known as column. So how many columns are there? So there are 3 different columns. Okay, so this cell is the intersection of rows and columns. So if I intersect this one, so this each and every piece of information or piece of data is known as a cell. So how many cells are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there are 15 different cells. Okay, right? So now next is field. So now what is this field? Field, it represents one related part of a table. So this is known as table, or let us say call it as a file where the values are stored. Okay, so the name of this file, I have given it as an employee. Okay, so a field, it represents one related part of a table and is the smallest logical structure in a database, and again it holds one piece of information about an item. So what do you mean by this? Let's see. So field, this heading, each and every of this heading known as field, under which the values are stored. So how many fields are there? So there are 3 different fields. ID field, under ID field there are 4 different values, under name field there are 4 different values, and again in address field there are 4 different values. And this field, we can call this field as column also. We can call these fields as column also. Now let us see, a field represents one related part of a table. So this is a table. So how many parts are there? There are 3 parts, 3 columns are there. And why we call it as a related part? Because ID, each and every fields are interrelated with each other. Each and every fields are interrelated with each other. So how? See, ID. If I say I want to retrieve the value of that employee whose ID is AC001. So when I write ID AC001, his name will be Amir and his address is Karsan. And ID AC002, The employee whose ID is AC002, his name is Vijay, and the address is Darjeeling. So that means each and every of these values are interrelated with each other. Okay, and next is record. A record is a collection of multiple related fields. Again, now it is the collection of multiple related fields. Remember, multiple related fields that can be treated as a unit. So it is a collection of multiple related fields. Okay, it is a collection of multiple related fields. So see this record. Each and every row, it represents a record. So see, in each and every row, each and every fields are interrelated with each other. So row, it represents the record. So how many records are there? So there are 4 different records under each and every field. So there are 4 different records. So record means it represents a single row, and a single row, it is a collection of related fields. It is a collection of related fields. It is a collection of the values under that related fields. So we say that record is a collection of multiple related fields, and it can be treated as one single unit. So see, how many records are there? So there are 4 different records. So how many rows are there? So there are 4 different rows. So that means we can say that record, it represents row, and field, it represents column. Okay, right? So now next is table. So now what is this table? So a table is a named collection of logically related multiple records. So table is a named collection of logically related multiple records. So how many records are there? So there are 4 different records. And again, we can call this table as the collection of rows and columns. It is a collection of interrelated rows and columns. So table is a named collection of logically related multiple records. And again, we can call this table. So name of this table is now employee. Okay, so the name of this table is employee. So table is a collection of rows and columns under which the interrelated values are stored. Okay, so these are some few terminologies that we will use while studying this chapter.